All right, and so the first, I don't know why it paused, but in any case, thanks for catching that. All right, so the first one, it's the resolution to close public hearing for special use permit application for speed line garage at 2150 Dryden Road. Sure. Whereas Neil Gavorian of Speedline Garage applied for a special use permit on March 7, 2025 for an automotive garage at 2150 Dryden Road. Tax map parcel is listed. And a public hearing was opened by town board on May 15th, 2025. Issues were raised concerning site plan and driveway not meeting code and safety requirements. The hearing has been continued each monthly second town board meeting since that time to allow the applicant time to address the issues. Applicant was notified in August 20, 2025 that if they did not supplement their application to address the issues by September 2nd, the town would consider the application withdrawn. And the application has not submitted further application materials to address these issues. Therefore, be it resolved, the town board closes the public hearing for this application and denies the application without prejudice, allowing the applicant to reapply at a time when they're able to address all the issues in a complete application. So move that.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes, all right. The second one is a draft resolution to close the public hearing for the special use permit amendment application for Four Seasons Storage at 1400 Dryden Road. Whereas Michael Moore of Four Seasons Storage applied for a special use permit on November 16, 2024 to add a fourth building at 1400 Dryden Road. And a public hearing was opened by the town board on June 19, 2025. And issues were raised concerning the site plan and driveway not meeting code and safety requirements. And the hearing's been continued at each monthly second town board meeting since that time to allow the applicant time to address the issues. Applicant was notified on August 20th, 2025 that if they did not supplement their application to address these issues by September 2nd, then the town would consider the application withdrawn. And the applicant has not submitted further application materials to address these issues. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board closes the public hearing for this application and denies the application without prejudice, allowing the applicant to reapply at a time when they're able to address all issues in a complete application. So I'll move that.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes, right. Okay. Next thing up would be, if there's any announcements from anybody? I just know that the History House, the Southworth House's Heritage Festival is this weekend.
Yep, Saturday,
On Saturday. I think it's 10 to 4,
10 to 3.
10 to 3.
Isn't the Fiber Festival coming up too?
I don't know what day that, but that's on, I think it would be on.
It's on, everything's on the town website.
The
Yeah.
town website and in the newsletter if you,
Yep.
if people subscribe to it. And Rick, this is the up. Yeah, your turn, yeah, we're going through this pretty quick, so.
You have a man.
So,
We're doing very well through that.
Rick, if you want.
They complain if we don't, they can't hear you.
Yeah, it's the same
Cyber-
folks who get the
cyber-
mics, so.
Okay.
It's like a Senate hearing, just don't act like Cash Patel.
We completed about 95% of our 284. This week and part of last week, we spent a lot of the time, we were putting shoulders on a lot of the roads. If you go on the roads now, you will see they've got shoulders now.
Yeah.
I know we did Yellow Barn, Ferguson, Hunt Hill, West Malloryville, Clintock. We did a lot of them. We did some that had washed out, we patched and did those. We did the trail washout down by the pump station in Varna. the water pump station at the sewer one, from FX Fox Bridge. Roughly 200 feet from the Route 13. Route 13,
It's beautiful, by the way. I walked it the other day.
thank you. We put a handrail up there because it needed to be, it's one of those that's fairly. Deep drop off,
Ask you about that. One other question I meant to mention earlier. So the resources, the funding to do that work on the around FH Fox towards Route 13, was that out of your budget or was that out? That was EPF.
The understanding I had from Todd Bittner and Amanda that from Mount Pleasant to Monkey Run is covered by,
EPF.
yes.
Okay, so I'm putting.
Now, what the confusion came after that. When we continued down. He thought it was. I called him. We had a conversation. He said, yeah, I believe it is covered.
Who said that?
Todd Bittner.
What
Amanda
is-
was out, and then when I talked to Amanda, Todd never talked, everybody talked, and apparently. He was mistaken. So,
Was that today, these conversations or a couple?
no, this was by email back when we did it. I mean, if you wanna talk about it more, I can show you what actually transpired.
Yeah, I think we'll need a lot of detail, and I'm sure you can help us with.
We have all the details for. The guys put on a sheet,
How many loads?
yes,
Oh,
yep,
crush.
we have the receipts, we have who was on the job, how much they make per hour. And what the truck, we use, I believe, the FEMA. Calculations for how much we charge for the trucks and the equipment and everything else, that we all have.
And all that.
Yes, that is totally separate on the worksheets because of said grant. We've learned in the process that it has to be more. We have to be more diligent with our paperwork, so we have been changing that.
Yeah. Alright, that's
So,
all.
we also called the apartment company. They still had a mess there from Mount Pleasant to the FX Fox Bridge on the west side. They came, they cleaned up their mess. And we finished fixing it, so the dip's out of there, that's straight, and I believe that looks pretty good too. While we were there, I fixed the pump station driveway, that was getting all rutted up and muddy, and it just wasn't a good scene. We had the Yellow Barn Road tank. And the Nicite tanks. Checked. They put a little robot in there that goes around and checks them. The Yellow Barn tank, we've got a couple repairs, I'll get them. We're gonna work on that ourselves, Nicite, we're gonna need to, I'm in touch with Bolton Point. The older tank is in very good shape, the newer tank, they said, is in very poor shape. So apparently. Bolton Point has done this in different locations, so they're gonna lead me on. Who, what, and where, as far as the sandblasting, the painting, the primer, the companies that do this. Cause we've never had to do it, and they deal with all the time, so I've talked to Greg Weatherby. We're gonna, once we get the report. Meet with a company and go from there, but the tank will have to be drained. And prior to that, we have 2 pumps at the Varna pump station. That combined put out 350 gallons a minute. Which is very poor, so they were talking about upgrading to 450. And that's one of the questions I was gonna bring to you, and Amanda, is that gonna be covered under the grant for the water that we're doing now?
Be for the CDBG one.
Yeah.
There, would that be covered? Changing the pump?
In the present Varna CDBG, I don't think that was in the scope.
Okay. So.
Don would be the most knowledgeable on that.
Right. Well, that's something that we have to upgrade, so that while that said tank is empty, you've got 2 pumps that can push. 900 gallons a minute, because you have to follow the fire load, and. They need X amount of water per minute.
Yeah.
And all that, so, and Nicite tanks won't keep up with it.
Okay.
So, that's some more good news, I mean, that we're gonna have to, I'm trying to get all the numbers together, so we know what to do with the budget in a week or 2 here.
Yeah, cause it sounds like we're gonna have to replace the tank over near NICEAG then.
That's gonna be a
Yeah,
large expense.
yeah, cause if it's like the yellow one, which is how many years ago? Like 8 years ago or 9 years ago? No, it was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
That was $650, that
Yeah.
one. And is the NICEAG one, is it bigger than that one?
Yes, much bigger.
Right.
And it's a newer one, so obviously the quality of metal is a whole lot different, because they said the old one's really in pretty good shape, and
Yeah,
so. And speaking of those tanks, I've sent to a Nikki Fast from NICEAG. She's the real estate and land management executive.
mhm,
And she wanted to know our 2 access points to get in for when they lock up the tanks. It was difficult, took me a minute to get my crayon on it because there's only 2 entrances, but that's what we did. So.
there's a
Hopefully,
lawyer joke in there.
when you see it, when it comes through. I mean, you can look at it real quick, but I think
Yeah.
that we finally got to where I sent her the diagram. She's got the driveways, and hopefully we'll get this lease thing straightened out.
Yeah, cause I know in the meantime, they've been letting us get up there anyway. It's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not completed yet. I think that's it for now. I got nothing.
Okay. And then that's, I think you told me about the other day, instead of you did that other, like that coating thing instead of the yellow one, yeah. Yeah, cause that's what, that sounds weird on tires, but it's just
It's a lot,
it's like gives more traction, I think.
well, I like oil stone because it fills in the crack spot and stuff like that, but the
Yeah.
problem is the phone rings out the hook.
Yeah,
And the cul-de-sacs, it takes forever on your busy roads, it beats right in, within a week or two, and nobody really is too upset, but it's just. I'm to the point where I just do micropave versus
yeah,
hearing the complaints, and it's just not.
yeah, well, it makes it looks good, I mean, it looks good.
I also did go over to Wood Road, we had a parcel of property, Bambi's been working diligently on trying to figure out. The dog shelter. So we went over today, we put a pipe in, we put a little gravel there so we could get out there. We kind of marked it out. I've got the paperwork up to Reagan's. For a survey, we mowed, I know the hot amp that I have, we kind of marked it. We stayed a little bit farther in, but when we get an exact measurement, we'll know for sure, but it looks pretty good out there mowed. It's kind of an isolated area, there are some houses around, but. But once we get it mowed again, I'm gonna take her back out, she's gonna try to position where she wants things and. She's going with the health department and all this stuff, so they're trying to get moved forward on it, so everybody keeps it in their mind that. Bambi's doing a lot of work on this.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bambi. Thank you, Rick.
Was it dry out?
Yeah. It wasn't too bad, I drove all the way out there with the gator and. It was pretty dry, grass is a little, it was in the morning, so it was a little wet getting out walking, but. Once we mowed over it, looks really good. And we're gonna try to continue to keep it and work our way farther. Yeah, I think it's a smart idea. So. Any questions?
nope, thank you.
You guys have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Can I leave?
Unless you want to, you can hang out.
Eating for your entertainment.
You don't wanna stay?
Yeah, all right, done. Ray, I'll put your report up, but
Okay, yeah, this is the monthly report. Posted out on the web. I'll just call attention to the building inspection numbers are back up to. Higher numbers than we have been experiencing the last few months, so the 1.5 additional staff is working out great.
Good.
And get out there and get a thorough coverage.
so get the Deer Haven thing, so. Does anything happen in the this last week? Cause I know.
No, so the ZBA, the applicant was a no-show, so they denied the application. We
Right.
had, the applicant called up the next day and he was just confused as to the time. He was here at 7 o'clock and by then everything was locked up. So, he was told that, he either needs to move his fence or reapply for a variance. And we have not heard from him.
So then when's I get, do you have to recite him or no?
Yeah, so Dave should do another NIV out there.
When's that gonna happen?
I will try and prompt it for next week.
Okay. So I know we need that so that. Then Parahannick can do what he does, so. Okay. And then I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, did you end up connecting with Evan about that,
I have not reached out as to whether the ag committee has any comments on the livestock,
Okay,
containment law.
cause I know, I didn't actually have a chance to check if the minutes for ag had been. Done yet, but. But I had forwarded that draft that you and Nate were talking about to the ag committee for last week, so.
Do you want the planning board to take a look at that next week at their meeting?
Yeah, we could look at it too, we hear like Evan had a chance to look at it, so. I would, yeah, you can send it to planning board, but then. Make sure. Like, if you could copy Evan on those emails, so that, or at least copy the ad, cause Kim sometimes would respond to those.
Okay,
So if they're all kind of connected together, they can.
they chime in on it.
Chime in, yeah, cause I think. I think Allison will probably have those minutes in the next, I don't know if she'd have them in time for the planning board meeting, cause she's got a lot of other stuff going on, so.
Yeah.
But not, she only needs to have them ready for the ag committee for next month's meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so I'm trying to reach Evan to get
yeah,
any results.
all right. David's up, but he's not. Huh?
Mm.
Yeah.
Grab
We could,
We could get Nikki's.
so you can get out of here. Yeah, you can come up next, so. Yeah, JCAP grant, so.
Yeah, so it's the same thing as last year. It's just we've got a couple, a new filing cabinet. The tables they didn't approve us for last year. We put them on the list for whatever reason. They denied those, so I'm gonna try again for those. And then a new stand so we can put that table back where it belongs for the printer there. That we have on there, and then
You got a new printer.
yeah, so it's basically about almost $7,000 that we need, but I think last year you guys just approved it for the 30 because that's the maximum. So that's, if you would do that, that would be great, and then I can get it all submitted and.
Why would?
Is there anything else to put in for?
I mean, I was, so last year I was thinking that, after we had done it quickly, and then I was like, oh, we get law books every year that are like $1,000, but I talked to them about it when I was getting ready to do it, and that's not something that they would approve, so. I mean, I looked around for different things so I don't really know.
Is there any training?
anything.
Do they pay for training or?
No,
Okay.
none of that type of stuff, yeah, cause I was hoping, yeah, I was like, everything we can get, we would do, but yeah. It's basically just furniture or like cosmetic stuff, like for, like if the office needed certain things or whatnot, things like
Okay.
that, so. But I did our filing cabinet that we have all of our main cases in, the top handle just literally broke yesterday. So I'm like, got that on there, and it's a fire safe one, so it's like $5,000, so that'll definitely be a good thing to have on there, so
Okay.
hopefully they approve it anyways.
Are there any like security enhancements that you could do for?
They do have that as part of it too, any of the security stuff, but I don't think there's anything really much that we would
Okay.
need for that, but I always keep track of all of it, so if it is something, I would definitely throw it on there.
Okay.
But I think we're good for right now with that.
Got it.
So was there something about I don't know if I'm not seeing it, but for the windows as well?
Yeah, so that's not
Okay.
do that because the guy literally just came today, so I have to call them and have them send back the application because I had sent it in.
Yeah,
But it does say that they can, I can redo it, but I've gotta wait for his actual,
okay.
you know, whole statement of how much
Yeah.
it's gonna be, so.
Yeah, because I know I have to. So I think it was Comp Alliance did some review also of just security overall for town hall. I gotta talk with Amanda about. For the budget stuff, so in case that didn't come through. Maybe we could
Put it on that,
put it on that.
okay. Yeah, I was,
'Cause
they did approve it, like I said, they did approve it last year, so I don't know if it's gonna be, I mean, we obviously sent the money back because we didn't get it done, but, hopefully they'll. We'll just get it this year and then hopefully the guy can follow through this time.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, thanks for all your work on this too. All right.
Yeah, I got,
Yeah.
yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that.
So, resolution, yeah. Of course, no. All right, so first I just move the resolution to approve and authorize me to sign the grant.
I'll second.
Councilperson Buck.
Yes.
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 Yes. You.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, have a good night.
Right. All right, David, you're up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I didn't realize I could sit in the jury box like Ray.
Sit there.
I didn't know that, I would have been here all the time.
Chair.
I sent a deck over yesterday with a report.
Yep,
Is there a way to present that on the screen? I'll talk to
Yeah.
slide 2 through 7.
yep.
So while Jason's doing that, I can give a high update of where things are, which we'll talk about in the presentation. We are approaching 500 customers. This is huge for the organization. 2 years ago, I believe in September, we had about 10 customers. And last year we had about 200, and now we're close to 500. So pretty good growth this year, not the growth that we expected in the goal of 1,000 total customers by the end of the year. But that had a lot to do with changing our engineering firms. So that's the headline, is that we are really close to 500 customers. We should be there probably mid-October. Probably should do some kind of announcement to say, like, this is a pretty big deal to have 500 customers on the platform, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, using what we're providing. 500. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. So as of September 1st, we were at 472 and 20 in August. Like I said, we'll probably add about 20 more in September and get to 500 by mid-October. Monthly revenue, 25,000.
So Adobe trying to sell us stuff.
Nice. Monthly revenue is 25,000, year-to-date revenue, 163,000, on track to do about $290,000 in 2025. We did add 8 parcels in the month of August. That was Hanford Drive over on Sims Hill Road. That was kind of a long time. It was almost done when we halted work at the end of February. So we're like, how do we go and get that taken care of? And I believe as of right now, 7 of those 8 parcels have already signed up and that installation is completed. So it's probably our highest adoption for a single neighborhood. The Frito extension RFP, this is as of, I guess, yesterday. It was posted, it was built out. This is for 900 new parcels in the northern half of town. It's everything serviced by the Fruitville Pop, which goes northwest into West Dryden, north on 38 toward Groton, and then northeast all the way up to McLean, as well as Proville Road and everything in that triangle. The bid opening was on Tuesday. A single bidder was higher in their estimate. However, the engineers spent Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, and this morning reviewing that. And the main reason is the engineering team was estimating that this work, which has a substantial amount of underground, would be done by trenching or plowing, which is just a piece of equipment that puts the fiber underground from the surface. And the quote that came in is using boring, which means using a drill to go underground at a deeper than the trenching. So that makes up a bit of a difference in the price, given that there's room to negotiate how they do the work. Now that we recommendation of awarded, it probably will come in somewhere between the estimate and the award. So the award number was about 2 million. It's in the resolution, and the estimate was 1.6. So probably come in around 1.8 as we move to have them do more of it through either trenching or switching some of those miles from underground to aerial. The average aerial per mile costs about $45,000. The average underground is about $75,000 per mile. So if we switch a few miles from underground to aerial, it'll save us some money there too.
Is all the underground gonna be in the right of way, or is some of it gonna go in people's?
It's all in the right of way.
But is the right of way, is it all like the culvert type right of way or on under lawns? Cause I know.
Most of
There was sometimes I think somewhere like we had, I think I remember some people had like homeowners had cut fiber backs, I think, cause it didn't get buried deep enough. I don't know if that was the. Their stuff or the stuff.
those are drops though
Okay.
from installations. That was not the main line.
Okay.
I mean, anything that main line underground is in a conduit, this kind of orange pipes that goes inside, plastic pipe. So it's much less likely that if they're digging, they'll pull that and not just pull the wire and snap it. Where the lines most of the lines that go underground in people's homes, those laterals don't have the conduit. I think we've had 5 non-conduit, 5 lateral breaks in 3 years, which, given the number of months of service we provided, thousands and thousands of months of total service, it's a pretty low number. So on this calendar, I put some ability team for stability town board meets requesting authorization to award the bidder. That was as of yesterday. Now, as of earlier today, Vantage, our engineering firm, has recommended that we move forward with this bid. And then work would begin on 22nd, which is on Monday. Finally, Rainbow Plate construction is well underway. Richardson, Son, and Denella have each been awarded a number of these contracts. This is where we have these electrician companies go to the total poles and raise or lower the electrical lines, as well as any other lines that are on there to make room for our equipment, which is our strand and our fiber on the poles. This will involve us roughly touching about 4,500 utility poles across both towns the next year.
Yeah.
To that degree, Denella has been awarded a bunch of these. They are sending 7 different crews. Richardson is sending 7 different crews down from Geneva to work on these bids, to work on these electrical make-ready packages. You'll see them all over town. Amanda and I were in Amanda's office where we can see 392. I saw the Denella truck drive by. Earlier today, I saw one of the Vantage vehicles on Route 13. So they're out there in full force working on that's electrical make-ready and engineering, as well as starting next week, the construction.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm pretty sure I saw the STN projects, that similar work going on when I was driving to Owego on 96 today. They were,
probably there's some state funding too.
yeah. And I think they were even installing new poles in some cases because some of they're much taller than the little ones.
There's a lot of new poles being put in.
Yeah.
And then those are being paid for by, which is nice, I
Yeah.
think, in most cases. All right, MIP updates September 18th, which is still 9:31. The Empire State Development Board did meet, and they did review our project plan, including the increase. As you may have seen the email I sent out earlier this afternoon, they approved the increase of about $2.6 million. This is primarily for two reasons. One is the original engineering firm on the project did not plan out enough miles to reach all the homes in the plan by about 14 miles, and they underquoted the cost per mile for the construction. So we added those two together, looked at the entire project, and it came in about 2.6 million short. We negotiated with New York State since April about right sizing this. They gave us the preliminary approval in June. They said you can't make any moves about this. There will be an Empire State Development Board meeting in September. That's also not yet time to make the official moves. It's still embargoed. There will be 2 public hearings, and then in October, it'll be official. At that point, they'll offer us the grant disbursement agreement that we can sign that will allow us to receive the grant disbursements. Dan.
Well, I didn't have my hand up, but it's embargoed, but you're announcing it.
It's public business that was actually happened with the Empire State the Empire State Development meeting, which is it's a public meeting. That was also a public meeting. You can tune into the Empire State, but it is a provisional acceptance by their board. It doesn't get clear until the 2 hearings. As it says on there, the Public Authorities Control Board, the PACB, is having a hearing on October 15th at 2 p.m. We believe after that, we will be receiving the grant disbursement agreement to sign. So making it very public that was a public meeting, it was announced, it was approved, but now we have one more step.
Well, it's really good news. It's not official, but it's really good news, and I think it's another sign of
Yes.
you solving problems.
Thanks. It's we reached a point sometime next July where we're going to run out of funding for the expansion. So it's good that Vantage basically stopped all of construction and design and said we need to start this project like it was day one, and let's put it together how we would put it together and see what all the gaps are. Start to fix those gaps to build this thing. This infrastructure project will last 40 years when it's completed. We want to do it right now and not have to keep making fixes to it year after year until we get to 40 years.
That's a basic question. You mentioned telephone poles. So if we had a pole permit and a pole is replaced, is that something that we have to be involved in at all, or is the utility and the contractor they hired responsible for managing our?
We will get notified if a pole has to be replaced, or if another company comes and wants to use poles and we are on those poles,
Yeah.
then we will have to move ours. There are reciprocal agreements. If there are other existing providers that we might have to move their lines or they might have to move ours. For instance, Empire State or Empire Access is a provider of fiber optic in the region. They have some of Empire Access's fiber on poles that we were attached to. So when they get the request through the pole permitting company and said, Trident Fiber wants to use some of the poles where you already have attachments, you'll have to move them, up 2 feet. They can send someone to us from their office in Prattsburgh over near Naples. They can send someone to that pole, make the attachment move, charge us for that move. Or a reciprocal agreement, anything that we need to move on our own to put stuff on, we can move their poles, we can move their attachments on those poles on their behalf.
All right.
At no
If
cost.
the pole goes.
So the way around is when they want to move something on our poles or on our attachments, they would also move ours without us charging us doing the work either.
So the new poles that are say going on Proville Road, for
Yes.
instance, they'll go ahead and move Dryden Fibers
Yes, I believe so.
without us having to do anything.
The one touch electrical make ready is how it is the term that they use for authorization for a company that can do both the electrical moves, which sometimes requires turning electricity off for the block while they move those. They don't want to move those while they're hot. The one touch providers like H. Richardson and Son have the licensing not just to move electrical, but also move Spectrum or other providers like Dryden Fiber on those poles. They have stated both within the MIP, talking to other MIP recipients, as well as the state. Some of the providers they never move their equipment. They just leave it there until it has to be moved at the last minute. But we won't be like that. There will continue to be rent on these poles as long as the project is going. All right, the next slide is the Caroline Central Office construction will begin next week. Put a bid out. We had 2 builders come in on that. It's been $150,000. Whether we put it in their own central office. We believe it will be arriving in about 10 weeks. So we're doing a ceremonial groundbreaking in October. And then sometime in late 2025, early 2026, their big building will come in where they will have their servers for Caroline. I think that's it for this slide. Any questions?
So that date's not confirmed, the ceremony.
I just received an email from the state that requested the 14th as a maybe. So I have to confirm with Caroline, they're hosting, and the rest of the broadband committee, basically Dan and Jason representing Dryden, if the 14th could work.
I prefer the 14th.
So does the governor at this point, so it might be on the 14th.
Similar calendars.
Awesome. I think there's a couple of slides I want to cover before we go to resolutions.
Oh,
Sorry, Jason. Dan, your camera's off. The people at home can't see you.
I shaved it anyway.
this one, come on.
Can you go back 1 slide? Yeah, I guess that's the slide. So we want to have to mute yourself too.
I think that's me.
Can you go next slide? Okay.
Okay, one more second.
Turn your microphone off on your computer. Thank you. So refer a neighbor and get $25 off your next bill. If your neighbor friend signs up and enters your name in request service, you're an existing customer, one will install it by the end of the year, will give you $25 credit off your next bill. For each person who signs up and include your name, we've updated the request service form to now have a field at the bottom that says refer a friend name who referred you. Please use their first and last name. This is for new customers only. They can only attribute to a single existing customer. New customer requests only within what's serviceable right now or serviceable coming up this fall. The goal of this is to engage the 1,300 households who are in the green zone who have not yet signed up from the 500 people who already have signed up and have them tell their neighbors and get a little benefit to this. We'll be, as it says, update the service request form and then update the first invoice process to give credits throughout the end of the year into January for any referrals. Any questions on this referral fund program?
When does it start?
As soon as the email goes out, which should be early next week.
Very exciting.
Yes, I think we've had this recommendation from many people who said, what if there's a referral fund? And so how many times have you been paid for a referral when you referred someone to another business? And no one I talked to could think of any time that they actually did that, but we still want to try it. Even if no one puts names in, at least they'll tell people and there'll be some buzz about this.
Yeah.
And we're expecting this to have some increase in signups over the next 3 months. The other part is that email that goes on about this will be a renewed posting about lawn signs. We have about 75 lawn signs out in the community. We're going to ask people if they are done with their lawn signs, and most of them are done. They're in the garages to make them available for us to pick them up. And for the 300 new customers who have joined since we put yard signs out earlier this year, we'll ask them if they want signs. We already have a handful of people who've requested signs. So between refer a friend, the email blast, and the yard signs, we think that should get some more growth coming up the next 3 months. All right, let's go to the next slide. All things going on with check marks and things we've completed. The yellow is things that are ready for authorization, and orange are things we're still working on. Moving through this, we've turned from a little bit of marketing activity to full focus on engineering for the last 8 or 9 months, to now focusing on all these legal things that are going on with just operating this business as its own entity. Part of that is securing the network through some places where we are leasing fiber from other entities or easements to other people's land. And some of it is just part of doing business operations and installations. So if you take a look at the list, if you have any questions, I'm happy to go over these in detail. The goal is that this would be filled with green check marks before the end of the year, and maybe have new legal things we add as we get everything papered up. Yep. The last slide is the updated project highlights. This is the new project, which has the increase in total project investment, the $11.6 million total project of $12.5 million. And you can see on the map all the places where the proposed and existing network are, with all the purple dots of where we will be bringing all the service locations. This is important just for one reason, that is there are 544 addresses that are either unserved or underserved between the two towns. An unserved address means the highest speed they can get their home right now is a dial-up connection. And underserved is the highest speed they can get their home is a DSL connection. So 544 of these 2,700 locations are either unserved or underserved, and the remainder are passings. We pass by those 2,200 houses on the way to servicing the unserved and underserved. Any questions on MIP or anything else, Dryden Fiber? Pretty busy month.
When are you getting to Purville Road again?
Good question. This which is the Morgan Hoppers, this Frugal bid that went out, we will ask to be awarded tonight, has a 60-day construction period, which is 60 business days, which is not very long. That's right. It's about 3 months, 20 business days per month. So if they do start before October 1st, it should be done by the end of the year. And that's Bowling Plain Road, West Dryden Road, Peruville Road, Loop 30 north out of the village, and then east, Route 66, Ed Hill Road, Isle School, Ocean, Morris, and a little bit of the McLean area. Immediately following that, we'll be putting this will put it for area 2, which is everything else in the rest of the town, both MIP and non-MIP. So everything that's on this map that you see that's highlighted, which is part of the funded zones, as well as everything in Dryden that is not funded by the state. But while we have the vehicles there doing the fiber and strand, or doing the boring, doing the digging, we might as well have them continue down the road into the non-MIP funded areas while they're there. That's a larger project, somewhere between 120 and 150 days, but we do believe that will be able to get completed by September 1st of next year. We've made some claims before, however, our current methodology looks to be roughly 10 times faster per mile of build than the old process from our prior engineering firm. So it is possible that by this time next year, we will have reached every household in Dryden.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. We're about 4 years ahead of the old schedule.
Yeah.
And by that, you mean in front of every household?
In front of the household, the challenges then would be the mobile home parks and apartment buildings, but we should be bringing those online as we're passing them, as we shift engineering from planning and design to the work that needs to be happening on these multi-dwelling units. So pretty good stuff happening across the board. When this project starts, we'll track it really closely over the next 3 months and see how close they are on target. That way, as we get the next one awarded, we'll be able to track toward these specific goals and timelines. That was it. The rest of the report covers the rest of the departments of the project. Please take a look at it if you have any questions. Happy to answer those.
Great.
We have two resolutions. If you want to do that now, or we can,
Yeah, we can do it right now.
the first is authorize supervisor to sign the Trident Fiber Network Audit Agreement with Clarity Connect. The state of our network is strong. We have fiber to these 500 homes. We have service from about 1,800 total homes. However, in the switch from engineering firms, the details and data about what is going on in the network regarding the number of strands per road on these poles, what kind of equipment is in the handholds or in the splice cases. We just don't have a good set of documentation on that. It was a gap that was there, being more and more apparent as we brought more and more customers on. And our installation company was like, we don't really know what's here. The documentation on the prior engineering firm did not make it clear enough to know what's happening. Thus, our new engineering firm said an audit would be a good idea. We've found that Clarity has the ability to know they know the area really well. They put together a plan to go and put these out there to go and do this audit. And while they're doing that, they will also be visiting every handhole, not just to see what's in the handhole and document the splicing and the ports, but also put in record balls. These are roughly golf ball sized balls that go in every handhole. These can then be detected with a device in the winter when there's 2 or 3 feet of snow. It's a good way to find these handholds, or in the summer when there's grass growing up all around these handholds. You have to find one in a yard to do an install or do a repair in the winter and there's snow. These marker balls will be part of this project that Clarity will be implementing as part of this audit. The pricing on there is not to exceed $30,000, which is what Vantage estimated it would cost to do this. I think you have the resolution.
So I'll move that.
Second,
Person thought.
Yes.
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 Second resolution is to award the contract for Trident Fiber Freeville Construction. As I mentioned earlier, that bill came in on Tuesday. Earlier today, after 2 days of analysis, Vantage Point recommended this as our next step to move forward. There's a resolution that Amanda sent earlier this afternoon to award this. I have about 9 pages of the contract for Jason to sign after the meeting to get this kicked off. Once we transfer that back to Vantage, they will get that to Syracuse Utilities, the winning bidder, and they can get to work.
All right, so I'll move this.
Second,
Person thought.
Yes.
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 I do have one item for executive session pending litigation when you're ready. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then. Let's see. Oh, all right. So the next thing, so there was it's an email through the website. There's a request, it's from folks who live near, I guess in the Yellow Barn development, yeah, so get in crosswalk similar to the one that's over on to Kirk Road and Manier Road. Because of just folks needing to get across from the Yellow Barn side to Johnson Road. There's a lot of homes on the Johnson Road side that goes right to the village of Freeville too, and the bus stops there too.
Yeah.
So it's a state highway, and I think the state had the. I don't know, Manila, they put that in after there was an accident, a death, yeah, so what we wanna do, I think, is. Make a request that they put one in at Yellow Barn before someone gets hurt.
Are we requesting not only put one in, but they do a study?
I don't think they'll do a study,
So,
they'll do a study anyway, but. We need to make a request to put that in.
because they may want to reduce the speed limit through that area if they're gonna put this walk in.
I think it's
And they've had a number of accidents at that
55.
intersection.
yeah, I think it's 55 over there, because it switches to
Yeah.
40, it switches to 45 at some point.
55 there. But I know there've been accidents over the years, so
It's just a 45, like it's down towards the nice side.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
um,
yellow barn is
it's-
55.
That's 55.
Yes, it's 55 between, I mean, right after, like, VFW, right, I think right after that, or right before it switches to 55. Then it goes down to 45. I believe right after the 366-13
Mhm.
intersection.
Okay.
So, I mean, we could request both.
I mean, I would. It's a very busy intersection.
Yeah.
And
That's a
then
nightmare.
a store right there as well. There's a lot of traffic. Play that goes on in addition to pedestrians, so I would
Yeah.
think it'd be worth looking at both.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cause so, all right, so just, we can make it relevant, so I'll just resolve that we make a request to New York State DOT to install a crosswalk with the, what were those things called?
Flashing
The
yellow.
flashing yellows, is essentially we got a game farm,
Yep,
it's the same thing.
you push a button and
You
it
push a
pushes.
button, it flips across, so it'd be the activated, I don't know, they're like activated lights, like user activated, like pedestrian activated lights.
So you're saying the one at Mania isn't,
In Kirkland, you know, that one,
it's not pedestrian activated?
It's
No, that one just flashes.
just like the other one.
No, it has a pedestrian activation in addition to the.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely,
so it's a, like a, that there's things on the side too.
yeah. There's one on Dryden Road too.
So we're asking for the same thing.
Yeah, we want the same setup. Yeah. I mean, and that intersection at Yellow Barn, I mean, it's, if you're trying to even make a left turn there, it's complete nightmare. Whether
Yeah,
you're going towards the village or towards Ithaca.
Right, well, they'll come out, I mean, there's a slight bend, I'm looking at the map, and they get into like sight lines and whether there's any sort of dip in the road to decide whether they can, there's
Yeah.
adequate sight.
Yeah.
It's one of our big challenges with game farm, so. I
Yeah,
don't know the height changed that well at Yellow Barn and Johnson, but that's one of the things that could make it difficult to get approved.
yeah,
The road's a little straighter at Kirk Road and Minia. It also has a little bit of a dip that I remember going out and personally surveying and realizing that that intersection didn't fit the criteria either that they have on the books.
Yeah.
for, a dip, and so. I
yeah,
think DOT does make some sort of discretionary decisions on these things that go
Yeah.
beyond the strict readings of the regs.
yeah.
Yeah, we can try.
I know in Kirk they had, I mean, I think, I remember driving by the accident that
yeah.
precipitated it, cause you had all of the Freeville Fire Department there that day. Okay, so we'll just have to get a letter together for that and, let's get in touch with Jeff Smith.
Board's making.
We're gonna make a resolution too, so just the way I had said it, I guess, and whatever. So move that.
Seven.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Guess we can just run through the advisory board updates. And then do the executive session.
I did the affordable housing.
Yes,
Leo wasn't there. So we were awarded the 9,900 housing affordability and supportive infrastructure grant from the county. So they're looking at setting up a feasibility study to develop some undeveloped land on Route 13 near NYSEG. And then also, we talked a little bit about land banks, like maybe joining a land bank, if that possibility exists. Basically, there's like dilapidated or abandoned homes that people can donate to like a land bank, and then they can refurbish it, turn around and sell it, and then keep using that money to refurbish other homes in similar conditions. So we're just looking into that.
yep. Okay,
conservation board didn't meet.
Okay.
And the planning board, of course, met, and so did the zoning advisory, zoning update advisory committee, the ZAG.
Yeah.
We call it the zoning advisory committee, and one of the things that came up at the planning board meeting was to gauge our interest as a town board in supporting another Design Connect application, which is where we appropriate $500 if our project's selected by Cornell City and Regional Planning students to do a study of feeder trails going into the rail trail. The idea being that we could improve access to the rail trail if there were more access feeder trails.
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea. I wanted to make sure everyone agreed with me before I told the planning board that.
I think it's fantastic.
We want to put our emphasis, so I think we'll go ahead with that. Now we can continue this discussion about how to handle the moratorium that we have in place right now on data centers and crypto mining that ends at the end of this year. That's a priority. And we talked about the time frame for getting some proposals back to the town board for approval in time to have something in place before the moratorium ends. So that's something that the planning board is very aware of, our meeting time, and we may be voting on this in December, hopefully November, but I know we have a lot on our plate for our November meetings, so it might be a December thing.
Yeah.
And, I think we have, all of us should be looking into this issue to the extent possible. And we would be the first municipality to outright ban it in our zoning code in New York. Anyway, there are municipalities with moratorium, temporary bans. Something permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've been the leader on that, and so I've had some exchanges with our consultant about this, and she thinks we could do it. Wouldn't, present a liability in terms of being sued over this. So we have a right to determine what sort of businesses we permit. We can not address it at all, and therefore it's not permitted in our zoning code, or we can directly address it. But it is, one of these things that at the same time, a big operation is going in at the Hugo power plant now, and
Yep.
that has implications in terms of having a lot of resources directed at wood processing, crypto mining, just 10 miles away, 15 miles away or so.
yeah,
And, would we be better served with a narrowly tailored part of the town where we could say, well, we allow it, it's just gotta go in these, in our industrial park, and it's gotta be this size, and it's gotta operate at these hours, and we could say, it's not like we're completely against it, we'll add an outlet here for it if somebody really needs it, and for some reason in the future. The thing is, this technology evolves, and we don't know what the future's gonna hold in terms of whether this type of thing can be done without the exorbitant use of energy. It's a fascinating topic.
Mm.
Hope I'm showing how fascinating it is, but there are some municipalities that are racing to have crypto and data, and they think it's gonna improve their taxable property base. But you have states like Virginia that are looking at a 25% increase in energy demand in the next 5 years because they've been so hot on the topic. And
well, they've been approving them to go even into residential areas.
sure, they can't get enough of them, and
Well, I don't know, I mean, the people, I think, can get it, but they've had plenty of them, they just. And like Prince William County, I think it's Prince William County, I was just watching something about that over the weekend.
but the energy's gotta come from somewhere, and I think it's not a town of Dryden problem, it's not a state problem, it's a national problem. Where are energy sources for this going to come from? And the projections are it's gonna be 5 to 20% more energy needed in the next 10 years for what we all do routinely, which is getting an AI search. It's something to think about next time you do an AI search. It's like 20 times more energy than a Google search. So, not to put a guilt trip on anyone, but
Well, and it's the local residents who are often paying premiums for the electric to
Yeah.
get access to it.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like if for some reason we can't agree on. Like say we bring it here and then we're discussing it and then more things come up, we can extend the moratorium too. Because we're still working on it, so it's not a
Okay.
hard stop in December, I mean, if we,
that's a good point.
If, you know, cause it's one thing to extend a moratorium and not do anything, but as long as you're still actually doing something. They're not gonna have what legs.
And also, we
stand.
had to remember that we asked the planning board to research this and come up with a practical plan.
Yeah,
And they are doing their due diligence, and that we should probably wait for whatever they propose before we make up our minds that we're going to just ban it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really be a sincere thing to do to our planning board.
Agreed.
Because we've got a few members who are really doing a deep dive on this and thinking, well, maybe we can just make a really, narrow exception for where it can go in the town. Not a narrow exception, but really prescribe where it can't go and say. Yeah,
no, you know, they're pretty much one and the same thing at this point. So,
so anyway, something to put a pin in and that's. I'm not gonna touch that, but a few more updates will come shortly, I'm sure, from the planning board on this.
Okay,
And it's great to have a new member.
yeah. Hey,
Oh, sorry, I don't have my glasses.
all right,
Climate action.
yep,
They're really thrilled that we agreed to make them a standing committee, so they thanked us for that.
Yep.
They've installed an EV charging station at DPW. We received all the money for the electric vehicles, 175,000.
yeah, Rick told me that earlier, they're been taking it out to Niagara. Niagara, because they have to pick up
Oh, right.
so he's taking the Silverado EV out there.
Okay. And then the Repair Cafe is getting a lot of buzz. October 4th, Tompkins Weekly did an article on it this past week. And they're working on, since they are a committee now, they're working on a mission statement and bylaws.
Yep.
That's it for them.
Cool.
That's great. And then the rail trail, I also sat in on that one. There's been a lot of, I guess, work being done in, especially the Varna section. It's been resurfaced. They've done ditching, they've leveled it. It looks great. It's like 10 feet wide now and it's getting a lot more use than ever before. So it was exciting to hear. They're working on the section between Pinckney and Freeville, how to make that happen still. And then they're looking to recruit potential trail stewards for different sections. And they got approved for the peace pole placement.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And then they were talking about memorial benches and kiosks, but I wasn't able to stay for that.
Well, I appreciate you covering for me. We also have a subcommittee, the project committee within the Dryden Railroad
Yeah.
Task Force, and I was able to attend that, and we've been a little frustrated that DOT had told us that they're gonna hold up on working on approving our next basic bid package. It's called PSNG. Did I get that right? And they had said, we have a lot of other projects we gotta work on, so we're not gonna look at yours until October, and Ray and I conferred and resolved that I should send a nicely worded firm email to DOT. And to my delight, we got a response this week on Tuesday from what's her title? I'll make sure her title right here. Well, she's one of the regional program directors, Julie Baldwin. She did give us a lot of feedback on the status of the bid and things that needed to be added and corrected in order to
Excellent.
move it forward. So hopefully we'll get the bid approved by the end of this month. And or early in October, so we can get another contractor selected and move the project forward.
Fantastic news.
And in the meantime, I keep getting random emails from suppliers who want to be part of the project. Another, bridge company from the Midwest contacted me. Looked me up through LinkedIn and said, I make really interesting looking bridges. Can I put that on your project supplier list? And that was something that I wanted to talk to you about, Ray. I can do that later. All right, that's all I got.
Okay, and then DRYC is gonna meet next week. I was just looking for to see if we have the quotes for grant writers yet. Cause if you remember, we had approved for them to look for 3 quotes from grant writers to look for funding for the fields.
Okay.
So. But that, I guess we might have those next week, and then we will be able to act on it in October. But it'll be in time, I think, for the budget process.
This is to hire a grant writer.
Yep, to help secure funding for the fields behind town hall.
Great news.
Are they paid on commission if we get a grant, we pay them?
No,
I don't know. But I'll be able to make that meeting, the last one. I think their last meeting, I didn't, well, that one I know I didn't make because I was out. I had the shingles, so.
Well, I think one thing we could think about is community development block grant next year for that. Regardless of what the grant writing provides.
Yeah.
We could put our eggs in that basket. 2026 CDBG.
Yeah. And then the ag committee, the thing I had sent to them, even though I couldn't make the meeting last week because of the trial next day, but. They're gonna look at the draft of we talked about it earlier, but they're looking at the draft of the animal confinement law. To address the issues that are, going, we know on Deer Haven, but potentially elsewhere in town. And as Ray said, we'll pass it on to the planning board too, so.
Nice.
Just want to connect the 2 boards so that they can talk about it and then come up with something for us to consider.
There was that email that came out about the GRI and the New York Forward grants. I know like the Village Garden just got one, but would we ever be able to apply for something like that to maybe like do improvements, like partner with the Village of Freeville or like that in a community center in the park?
Towns are eligible.
Yeah.
It said if they partner with another thing, they could.
Well, one has to be the lead in. As long as, I guess, as long as the village is doing it. I don't know what the partner, that mean we write it and they get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I know that they've done work. I mean, someone's done work on the park down in Freeville though. And already I went. When I drove to the parking lot before the Freeville Festival, there's a whole garden there and there's still. At least one of the balls.
Or this one?
No, just in general, someone did it on their own. They have a whole community garden there.
Yeah, I just wondered if there was any grant money available to do that improvement to like House Hall. Remember, we received that email from folks.
That was a town, so the town, we were using town money for. I mean, they could. I don't know, if there's a CD community development block grant for like recreation or community centers or everything. If it. I don't know, that's one way you can do it, but years ago, the town board would send town money to the different
Right.
community centers. I mean, the thing is like, it's gotta, like, the big thing is like, is it really like an active community association to it and not something that's gonna be sustainable?
True, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I know they've been doing some things there. But I don't even know I don't know how active it is now compared to 10 years ago.
Okay.
So it's like I don't know, is Skip still involved?
He's kind of stepped away. I guess they have a new couple that's,
Yeah, I don't like, I mean, things, if they want the town to like back them on something or help with something, they should probably come to the board at least, or go to. I mean, come to the, I would say come here and say what they're looking for help with, and then we
Okay.
can figure it out. But that's the first step, is just get in touch with us.
right.
And, because we're pretty good at reading minds, but not that good. So. All right. I'm gonna move to. Go into executive session now for. I guess. To discuss, this. I guess the. Yeah, contract it. Yeah, potential litigation, potential litigation. So we're gonna stop the recording and it's 7:14 right now, and I'll start it again when we come back. They can hear us? Okay. All right, so we're back out of executive session. That's. Yes, it's recording. It's of course, my watch tells me 7:58. This is recording. Oh. Right, so 7:58, we were discussing issues related to Trident Fiber and um legal issues. No action was taken at this time on that. And then there's nobody here for citizens privilege. Do we have? Yes, we have one thing we needed to address still.
The email.
Huh?
We got it, we got an email.
It's another item, yeah, so it's just something we I guess recently we got a letter from WB Strong just asking about the additional funds for covering, I guess, the extra calls from Aetna that they were splitting with Varna. I know we had discussions with both Varna and WB Strong about what was being done by both departments previously.
And we want to
So
recognize.
recognize the fact that, yeah, that they've been covering but it's a amount of like what was actually covering the additional resources that were needed to make those calls.
It's just those two that are doing it?
Yeah, it's just those two. I think Mark came to one meeting and said that there were, it was like negligible. They didn't really have an impact on their like things that they were going up that way. It was something they would have gone to anyhow, I think. So it's like MVAs or if it was a structure fire or something like
Okay.
that, they all get toned on those anyhow.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I guess we wanna propose, I think 25,000 for each department.
Yeah, and this is based on conversations that we had with both departments, in particular. Varna had suggested that they were incurring some additional costs, but not an extraordinary hit to their budget. And we floated some numbers at that meeting, and 25,000 seemed like a fair amount to Varna, and to be consistent, we thought we should apply the same amount to Freehold.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, so then those funds that would come out of the fire district budget, with the funds that were originally at least last year's, well, this year's budget designated for Aetna, but that we haven't expended because of not offering Aetna a contract.
Okay.
So,
So you want to move that?
yeah, I'll move it.
I'll second that.
What's person about?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. Somebody's got something else.
Go Bills. Make it.
Got time to go home.
Make it home.
I think he's found his new seat. He's gonna sit there from now on.
He's in the jury.